Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of A Cup of Joe. I am your host, Joe. It is Monday, the 5th of April. I hope you're all having a great day. And as it's Monday, it's the start of a new week. Time to set goals. If you haven't, keep them going. I thought I would take a break from rehashing life stuff. Well, my life. And kind of give an update on things for those that are interested. Kind of going over a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about over the last week as far as things that have been in my life. I think not having thought or really dwelt, maybe even dealt with some of those things. Like starting Thursday, I was doing really good. Like last week, I was supposed to, last Monday, a week ago, I was supposed to have a reconnection with a friend. That never happened. And so I think that's kind of, been affecting things too on some things. But I think also just the idea that not really dealing with things, things I've thought about and sat on, and then kind of unearthing them, and then having a lot of those emotions and feelings come up and not really deal with things. So kind of starting Thursday, I just started feeling I don't know the word. Like I just started getting angry, like super angry, like rage. And I kept swinging between super angry and then super sad. So, and then maybe just talking about my mom on Friday, just, I don't know. I ended up not walking on Saturday, so I got 4 out of the 5 days, but we're going to hit it tomorrow. We're going to keep it going. But I guess, like, today I just kind of want to just, get an update and just be like, yeah, this is stuff, like I said, I don't want to sit here and be like, everything's going to be okay. You'll be able to get through stuff, But I think the importance of what I want to talk about today is the importance of talking about things, of not letting things sit, not letting things dwell. If you're struggling with something, no matter how embarrassing it may be to you, someone out there, I guarantee you, has dealt with it at one point in their life. But the adage, especially since post 9/11, if you see something, report it. If you see something, say something. I think the same could be said about our lives. If something happens, if something's going on, say something. If you don't, if you think that, don't worry, these feelings will pass, these emotions will subside, whether it be grief, whether it be anger, whether it be anger in particular. And this is, I had a friend ask in the comments as far as, is forgiveness, at what point do you stop forgiving? And honestly, my take on that is you should never stop forgiving. The reason for that is even if you don't think it's going to affect you, if something's not going to affect you, even if you don't feel like you did anything wrong, the idea of forgiving the other person, regardless, I'm not saying you have to forgive them in person, right? Like, I'm not saying if it's a toxic relationship that you need to go and find that person and be like, hey, I'm sorry. I mean, if you feel led to do that, I would say do it, but I think it's something that you need to really think about, judge the situation, and then go from there, because it may not always be a healthy thing, right? Like, for all, it could just lead to more toxicity. It can just lead to not good things for you as a person. But on the other side of that is you can still forgive them in your heart, and in your mind, and you can let that go. And for me, a lot of forgiveness is dealt with as far, forgiveness to me is basically, the idea of forgive and forget. Like, it's not something you necessarily forget. I'm not going to forget that this person hurt me in the past. Am I giving him the benefit of the doubt that it's not going to happen again? Yes. When you forgive somebody, you don't constantly keep bringing it up, right? You don't keep it, well, you did this. Well, the fact of the matter is, I already forgave you for that. Like, I'm not going to bring that up and throw it in your face. That's not what forgiveness is, because if you're doing that, that means you're still holding that. You're still holding on to that hurt and holding on to that anger. And when it comes to forgiveness, it's not something that happens overnight, guys. That's not what I'm saying, right? Forgiveness is a daily thing sometimes. Like, you can, it's not that, you sit there and you're like, I'm going to forgive this person today, right? Because the thing is like, take every thought captive. It goes right back to the beginning. Those thoughts start creeping into your mind of the hurt or the anger or whatever. And unless you deal with it, like then and there, and you keep dealing with it, it's going to keep coming back. As soon as you allow the thoughts to get a foothold, it's just going to keep growing. It's going to take root, but you need to start uprooting it. So it starts somewhere. You start with the act of, hey, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to let it go. And we're going to start there. So, and by doing that, you start, just like a weed, you start pulling it out. The weeds may come back, you pull it out. That thought starts creeping in there. Hey, remember when so-and-so did this? Well, hey, you know what? I forgave them. And it keeps doing that. And guess what? Just like soap on dirt, it's going to start cleaning it out. It's going to, and eventually it's not going to come back. Or it may come back, but it may be a week down the road. It's like, why am I even thinking about this? I forgave that person. We're good to go. And then eventually it will just stop. Well, okay, to be fair, I don't know if it would just stop, but you've conditioned your mind enough that it's going to be like, nah. Like that, where you would dwell on something, it's just literally be like a split second, like, nah, I already good. I forgive it. We're good. So that's really what I encourage you, is like, if you have things, and this isn't just dealt, in terms of forgiveness, right? Like, this is just things in your life. If you have things in your life that you may have buried, that you may not have dealt with, I encourage you to, as hard as it may be, start unearthing that. Start dealing with it. And I need to take my own advice, right? Like, because the thing is those hurts and those things, they do make us, who we are to some extent. And we need to be mindful of that. But we don't want to make it, we don't want to make sorry, I'm getting messages. My mistake. We don't want to make that as a we don't want to dwell. So don't let it take root. Take captive, take those thoughts captive, take those things. If you're struggling, let your brothers and sisters come beside you and help you out. Just be open about it. Be careful who you share it with, though, because you don't want to let the wrong people into your life. And that's kind of where, it doesn't have to be forgiveness, but just with anything, guys. Like, if you're struggling, let today be the day that you start, letting go of, those chains, letting go of whatever holds you down. Just start moving forward. Take those first steps towards freedom. Don't let, while the past may define us, don't let it be who you are. If you don't feel like you're, like, this is the, like, you're the right, like, you can be different, you can be better, then yeah, you can be. But you need to take those steps, because you can achieve whoever you want to be. You can be whoever you want to be. It's going to take work, especially with us as we get older. It doesn't get easier. Change is hard. But like how things have affected me over the weekend is like, I was supposed to have family activities yesterday. I ended up not going because just, I just felt so upset and so You know, I just didn't want to be around people, you know, and it made other people upset at me, and you know, I get it, you know, but like these constant mood swings just weren't good. I think I'm kind of leveling out though, so, but we'll see as the week goes on, because I'm going to keep digging in, so, but yeah, I mean, that's what I encourage you guys, you know, if you have stuff you're dealing with, like, let's deal with it. You know, I'm not saying I'm going to be able to help you, you know, but I would say I would encourage you to find somebody that could help you, because there's somebody out there who can. You know, regardless if it's just a friend, you know, if it's just contact with somebody, you know, just, you know, reach out, say hi. Remember that you have self-worth. You are valuable, you know. You know, find value in yourself. What are the good attributes that you have? What are the attributes that you bring? You know, and don't sit there and be like me and be like, nah, I don't bring anything to the table. You do. And you know the things that you bring. You know what your strong points are. And what are those strong points? You know, how can you better somebody's life? Where do you find that satisfaction? You know, I find satisfaction in helping others sometimes. I think I let my altruism, or whatever you want to call it, like, you know, I'd be like, oh, look, I want to be a better person, so I'm doing these things, right? And then the next thing I look at is like, oh, well, where'd all my money go? You know, like, I don't want to say that, like, oh, well, that's the whole point. You just give your stuff away, right? Like, yeah, but at the same time, also you take care of yourself. You know, you control your finances. It's things like that. So, you know, my problem's always been I put my self-worth in others, and all that ultimately leads to is disappointment. So, but yeah, guys, like, I'm hoping that today I can, you know, start friendships again. We'll see what happens. You know, I miss this particular person greatly, and, you know, I miss their input, you know, and I've had quite a few discussions and arguments over this last week that I really could have used some advice, you know, and I miss that. So, but I hope everybody had a fine Easter weekend. For those that are believers, He is risen. He is risen indeed. That is a great thing to know that Christ died for our sins and we are forgiven. So, and for those of you that don't, I hope you have a wonderful weekend nonetheless. It is fine. You know, you can believe whatever you want to believe, and you are still loved, you are still valued. So yeah, that being said, my friends, I hope that my words can bring you a certain sort of comfort. I hope that, you know, you can start finding healing. You know, no matter how far gone you think that it is, that you can start attaining that, because it is attainable. Trust me, it is. I can look back in the last 10, 20 years and be like, yeah, I'm not the same person I was. You know, a lot of those hurts, a lot of those. And we'll be getting into my story as far as the forgiveness aspect goes. And I'll show you guys, you know, what it looks like. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, it really is. So, to my family, I apologize for yesterday. To Vanessa and Eric, and to my son Aiden, and to the kids, I apologize. I'm sorry I wasn't there. So, and I don't really have an excuse. You know, I guess I should have just sucked it up and just gone. So, but that being said, I can only ask for forgiveness. So, but all right, guys. I love you guys. Hang in there. If you need help, you know, there's gonna be, you know, about, you know, if you're really struggling, and I'm going to leave links in below, or at least how to contact someone to speak to somebody. Again, I'm always going to shout out Lady Random's channel on this. Check her out. She's good. She needs a lot of support. I want to see her channel grow. She's putting a lot of work into it, so I'm proud of her. I'm proud of where she's going. So yeah, her links, that channel will be down below as well. So, and to anybody else, who wants a shout out, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to put you up. So, because I want to see people, I want to see you guys succeed, especially you small channels out there that are putting a lot of work in and just not getting anything. So, but I just want to say, don't give up, just keep going. So, all right, guys, I love you all. You have a fantastic day. May this week bring you untold blessings. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode of A Cup of Joe. Have a great day. Have a great week. And this is Joe signing off.